WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
That's right. It's Tuesday, Round Lake Beach, 98.3 FM The Life. Of course, this is Ted Schneider on Improv Leadership with a good show tonight. We've got a guest in the studio. Why don't you say hi?
Well, hello there.
Exactly. My younger son, Zach. Zach's going to be here, and we got ahead of ourselves, but we're going to do a quick shout out to some of our local loyal listeners, friends, etc. Again, Improv Leadership, Ted Schneider, 98.3 FM The Life. Special guest, Zach Schneider. Zach, who do you want to do a shout out to?
Woo! All righty. Well, welcome everyone. Quick shout out to some coworkers. In no particular order. I'm going to start with, I got Gabe, Sherry, Melissa, Eric, Kelly, Nicole, Justine, Charity, Zipporah, Jess, Anne-Marie, Lindsay, Tammy, Riley, and Tracy.
Okay, well, that's all the time we have.
Yeah, it was nice being here. Thank you.
Well, quick shout out to, of course, Alec, my older son who's not here, Brianna, who's not here, my daughter. Of course, the Burbank group, we've got Kathleen, Randy, Jim, Debbie, John. Of course, my stepbrothers from Ridgewood High School. We got Tony and Bob. Of course, Sam right down the street, who's actually a local loyal listener. Sam, we thank you for your listening all the time and your feedback. And, of course, last but not least, shout out to Denise, my girlfriend. So again, 98.3 FM The Life, Improv Leadership, Ted Schneider. Zach, tell us what we're going to talk about today. Something special, very special, I think.
All righty, extremely special. We will be talking about a book that was gifted to you on Father's Day. It was Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story. So with that, it looks like we've had a few selected chapters and questions. So we'll be going through that. And I guess we'll start with the first and foremost.
Yeah, so just to set it up, it's a book that's about 90-some pages. We aren't going to do the whole thing, even though Bob Slipke won't be on tonight. Just doing an hour, but it's a book that you actually fill out. It prompts you to talk about your childhood, high school, things you did, things that occurred during your lifetime. So it's really like kind of a biography that I filled out. And Zach says, gave me the book blank, fill it out. We'll come on the radio. So that's the premise. So Zach, go ahead, shoot.
Sweet. Well, thanks for adding that on. And so we will start with, I'm going to read the section. So it's your birthday.
Okay.
And we are going to go back in time a little bit here.
Okay.
And we will start out with, what is a favorite childhood memory?
Well, I think the one I wrote down was pretty much going to Arkansas. My grandparents had a resort, Schneider's Resort in Mountain Home, Arkansas. We go down there in the spring and the fall, and they had 4 cabins plus their home. And it was a cool time to go down there because we lived in Chicago, so there was not much, running around to do there. But we would shoot at, cans on like a fence, and they had a lot of property. We'd go down.
Shoot your eye out.
Yeah, exactly. But real bullets, 22s. My dad had a 22 pistol, single, action, like a Western style pistol. You had a cock it, shoot, and a 22 gallery gun. And we would go down and shoot cans. We'd shoot across this one little river. And we just kind of hung out in Mountain Home, Arkansas. It was always warmer down there in the spring than it was here because, of course, a little further south. And in the fall, it was still nice compared to here as well. So visited my dad's mom and dad, and great time in Mountain Home, Arkansas, staying in the cabin and shooting, fishing, and just hanging out in the woods.
Oh, man, I'm learning something new here. I didn't realize there was a Schneider's Resort.
Yeah, there was. Not anymore. I mean, they died in the early 70s, both my dad's parents.
You know what happened with the property or the resort?
No, I think they just sold it. Now it's probably developed. I mean, it was so rural. We'd drive there on this dirt road to get there. And, there's a guy you'd wave to. I forget his name. He lived like in a little trailer and had electric going from a pole to his house. I mean, very, very basic. And again, kind of rural, like I said,
So Smokey the Bear was there as well then?
I bet he was. Yeah, we never saw any bears, but...
All righty.
Anyway, Schneider's Resort, Mountain Home, Arkansas, probably the favorite childhood memory.
Sweet. That is some fun stuff. All righty. Moving on. We have your next question.
Okay.
Drum roll. What song was on the top of the Billboard charts?
Let me think. Was it?
And let me take a step back here. What happened the year you were born? And then following that.
I'll let you read it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think the year.
As you can tell, folks, I've read this entire book before this.
Let's see.
Today.
It was Great Balls of Fire, wasn't it? One of the songs in 58?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah. That was Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire, 1958.
All right, I'm just making sure you didn't use ChatGPT to write these answers.
No.
and-
I came out of the womb going, great balls of fire.
Dun, 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 dun. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
All righty. Next question, still under the category of what happened the year you were born?
Well, when I was actually born, the angels sung, and and then my mom couldn't walk for 3 days. True story. I was like a 9-pound baby, and I think, and I had a big head, so they pulled me out with like some pliers or something, or tongs, some salad tongs. I think.
My God.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, but I don't know what happened in 1958. You tell me, Zach.
Oh man.
Besides me being born, which is probably the most significant thing.
Yeah, really. That's all I got. Who was the leader of the country, as in the president?
58. Was it Eisenhower?
That is correct.
Okay, yeah.
All right. This one should be fun. What were a few popular television shows?
Jeez, I'll let you do those. Go ahead, you can just read. Can you read? Yeah. Can you
Alrighty.
read my writing?
Let's see this cat scratch of. I'm just kidding. He has good handwriting. We have Gunsmoke,
Oh yeah.
Wagon Train, Donna Reed Show.
Donna Reed. Yeah, those are popular shows, and actually, Gunsmoke was like 20 plus years. I think it ran. Gunsmoke.
Well, these are all news to me. Not trying to age myself here.
Yeah.
What else do we have? 77 or 77 Sunset
Oh
Strip?
yeah, 77 Sunset Strip. It was they did some kind of thing there. But skip. We'll go past that stuff. Let's get into the meat of the thing. That's all historical stuff. People can look up 1958 and find that stuff out, right?
Got it.
Boring.
Well, some fun stuff. Do you
Sure.
want to talk about what prices were?
Sure, run through some of the prices.
All righty, let's do this.
1958.
I'll run through them. I believe you that you were there for it, so I'll
Yes.
run through what you got. All righty, 1958, a loaf of bread was 20 cents. Gallon of milk, $1. A cup of coffee, which I know you did not drink, was 33 cents. A dozen eggs. I hope everyone at home is sitting down right now. 60 cents. I was just at the grocery store today, the other day, and there was $3.96.
Yeah.
Let's see. Average cost of a new home, about $30,000.
I can write you a check.
Well, folks, my job here is done, and I will see y'all later with a $30,000 check. First class stamp, 4 cents. A new car, between about $1,700 and $2,200. A gallon of gas, 30 cents. And a movie ticket was 68 cents.
Yeah. I went to the movies the other day. It was Wicked in 3D, Northbrook, AMC. The senior discount with tax and the, convenience charge was like $43 for 2 tickets.
Dang.
Yeah.
Was the movie good at least?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. Part
Nice
1.
seats?
Oh, beautiful seats. Yeah.
Easy on the back?
Yeah. And good company as well. Denise
there
went
we
with me.
go.
So, I mean, a true movie experience.
There it is.
So what else we got?
All righty. We are going to move on to growing up.
So real quick, guys, this is 98.3 FM The Light. This is Improv Leadership with your host, Ted Schneider, every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. My guest tonight is Zach Schneider, my younger son. He's going over the book, Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story. So go ahead.
Woo. All righty. Going back to a new chapter. Well, I should say going forward to a new chapter. Growing up. Describe what your room looked like when you were growing up. Was it messy or clean?
It was clean. And actually, my bedroom was the porch. We had a porch, that went either outside or down the steps to the basement. So my dad converted to a bedroom, made a captain's bed where, it's built in. You have to climb up like a ladder. And then a dresser built in. I had a desk and a chair for, my homework. And yeah, my window was the backyard. I could walk out to either outside or walk downstairs. There was multiple doors. So my bedroom was actually the porch. I converted to a bedroom.
All righty.
Yeah.
Were you a paintings or poster type of person in your room?
It was posters, blacklight posters. Yeah, that in grammar school and high school, blacklight posters. Yeah.
Anything in particular that you remember or favorite one?
A lot of Marvel comics. Marvel comics.
Right. Probably a little bit different back then than what they are now.
Well, then plus in those days, you'd go to when I was in high school, I'd go to Wheelboats, and they had a record, part Wheelboats. It was like a Sears, like a that kind of thing, Kohl's, but they actually had a record store in there. And long story short, it was like I get the little 45s, little 45 discs.
Oh yeah.
I want to say they were like 69 cents, and you got 2 songs and top 20, top 40. Yeah, very cool. And that and blacklight posters and blacklight lights. Very cool. But what else? Keep going.
Let's see. Moving to another question along the lines of growing up is, what is one thing you miss about being a kid?
I think the freedom. You don't worry about bills. You don't worry about, as a kid growing up in the 60s, let's say, a lot of turmoil. Of course, Martin Luther King got killed and Kennedy was assassinated, then then RFK was killed. So in the 60s, you saw, 3 political leaders get assassinated. And the war in Vietnam went on. So a lot of turmoil. But I'll put it this way. We end up having a good childhood because there were no cell phones. We actually walked almost a mile to a public pool by ourselves, swam, and came back.
Up hills both ways?
No, it was only one way. But the point is we crossed a couple of busy streets and it wasn't like our parents didn't care about us, but it wasn't like, they had to drive us everywhere. So it was kind of cool to walk or bike to the park, play, swim, come home. And, we stayed out. We did a lot outside. We didn't do a lot. There was no, video games. There was no Nintendo or Xbox and that kind of stuff. And, long story short, we ended up really having a good childhood because we were out playing all the time.
Man, yeah, no streaming services?
No streaming services, exactly.
How'd you do it?
Somehow. I don't know how we did it.
All righty, we're going to be moving next to the teenage years. So Ted here is getting a little bit older. We'll say 13 to 19 maybe.
The puberty years.
All righty.
So we moved when I was in grammar school. I graduated Luther Burbank.
Okay.
And a shout out earlier to those folks that are listening from Luther Burbank. In 72, I went to Harvard Heights, and then that's where I went to Ridgewood, and I started as a freshman there. So go ahead.
Righty.
Just to put things in perspective.
So we'll paint this image of freshman Ted, just got done with the classes. It's a Friday night or Saturday night. We'll say school's out, whatever it looks like. What does a typical day or night look like? Freshman Ted.
It's hard to say because I had a couple friends I hung out with, but for the most part, as a freshman, you really can't, you couldn't get anywhere. You're only like 13, 14, whatever you were. So you couldn't get into bars, obviously. Although when I was 18, it was legal to drink. So we could get into bars. There's a place I think Milwaukee had like free hot dog day on Wednesday. We go there, suck down. Tom Wisnowski and I would go there and buy we'd buy like a Coke and get like 3 hot dogs. And, then we'd be like, whoa, I ate too much. But we just hang out. Again, high school, again, we don't have a car. You're 13, 14, you don't have a license or even a permit. So pretty much hung out in the neighborhood. Yeah.
Okay, I'm picturing like smoking cigarettes in the bathroom or like getting like a letter from your parents to go to the pharmacy store and you're picking up a sixer.
Actually, I used to buy.
Or is that just my freshman year?
Yeah, I used to buy cigarettes for my dad. He'd give me a note and I would go buy them for him. I didn't obviously smoke. My dad died of cancer in 1983. So he was a good lesson of what not to do in terms of smoking and drinking. But yeah, I know. Yeah, we were I hung out with pretty good kids. There was a Mike Schmidt and Brian McElottie and a few other kids, and just hung out in the neighborhood pretty much. Yeah.
All right, staying out of trouble, I'm sure.
Once in a while, we'd walk by the movie theater because the Harlem Urban Outdoor, which was only like 4 blocks from the house, you could watch the movie, but you couldn't listen to it. So we do that like sometimes on a Friday or Saturday night on a nice summer night. We could watch a movie for free, but you couldn't hear it. So it was like, we got real good at lip reading.
How far was that one theater that we went to?
Oh, the Norwich Theater? It was 3 blocks.
Nice. Okay.
We would do that. That was the Norwich. We'd go to the theater sometimes. I'll take a step back. There was a lot we did. There was the Holiday Bowl. We'd go bowling. It must have been 100 lanes. Seriously, you'd walk in there, try to find somebody. You'd walk in, let's say on a Saturday night. You're lucky you found it by Tuesday. It was huge, huge. I bet Holiday Bowl had over 100 lanes. So we'd go bowling. We would, like I said, sometimes go to the movie theater to watch the outdoor with no sound. Besides just hang out in the neighborhood, there was a lot of things to do there. There was a lot of shopping. There was a Harlem Plaza. There was Stark's Warehouse that mysteriously burnt down at one point. I had nothing to do with it, but yeah, it was a good time. But keep going. We got a lot more to cover. And you know what? On that note, folks, this is 98.3 FM Improv Leadership with your host Ted Schneider. Zach Schneider, my younger son's here tonight, and we always have a good time. And we're going over a book called Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story, but we always do station ID just to make sure it's actually 98.3 FM.
WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
And Zach, why don't you come back over here? Can you see? There he is. Yeah, I can't get the cameras working tonight, so Zach got his mug on YouTube.
5 seconds of fame.
Yeah, so we're talking about again, Improv Leadership, 98.3 FM The Life. Zach Schneider, my special guest, talking about Dad. I want to hear your story, so it's a kind of a biography of me.
Yes, the Ted Schneider show about the Ted Schneider.
Wow, what a concept!
Whoa, weird.
Yeah, let's do this again every week.
I can get used to this. All righty. So let's we're still within the teenage years, so we'll still say freshman to senior Ted.
Okay.
And discuss a teacher, coach, or other mentor who had a significant impact on you when you were growing up.
Well, I didn't in grammar school. It was Mr. Kulik, real cool guy. I thought he was good. But high school, Mr. Best, one of my teachers, I think he did social studies. There was also Frau Williams. She was a German teacher. Everybody signed up for German because she was very cute, and her husband was the track and field or coach. But anyway, he was always tan, big guy. But I think the best teachers in high school was probably Mr. Best, Mr. Page, who was a English teacher, great guy, and physics teachers. Was like their names escape me right now. And then of course there was Mr. Gates. Was a great teacher, professor.
Is he related to Bill?
Nope, no relation at all. But yeah, Mr. Gates, Mr. Best, the physics teachers. I can see them, but I can't think of their names. And who I mentioned somebody else, didn't I? Oh, then Frau Williams, of course. Yeah, for German.
Right.
Yeah, great teachers. Yeah, I think we had a great group of teachers in high school.
Right, I love it. Let's see. So it looks like we're switching gears here. And it just says this next phase of Ted's life is beginnings.
Okay.
So the first question we got for you today is, how did this time period impact who you are today?
And that's what year now? We're talking about high school still, or?
Man, we jumped from the teenage years.
Well, let's do this.
Beginning.
I'll set it up real quickly. In grammar school, I was a good student, to say the least. Okay, no problem with grades. Yeah, you'll take it. Yeah, I can.
They're not listening anymore, Dad.
Exactly. Most of them are dead. I remember our principal. Our principal's name was Graw, Mrs. Graw, a rather large lady. But anyway, I'm not judging. I'm just saying. As a kid, I was like, "Whoa, what happened here?" But long story short, even when I was younger, Zach, I was judging people. Shame on me.
Weird.
And that's so funny when someone says, "Shame on you." Yeah, that did it. Yep. Just say shame on me. I'm going to walk and hide in the corner.
You're in timeout
Yeah,
yet
exactly.
again.
But grammar school, good student, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. High school, I actually became Eagle Scout. So, there was a path there in terms of, get good grades. I became an Eagle Scout, which at the time, I think 1 out of every 100 Boy Scouts made Eagle. Okay. And then, of course, didn't do much in high school. It was pretty much go to school, come home. I mean, I knew nobody but my sister when I first started there. Okay. A lot of people, they went from grammar school to high school. I went from grammar school in the city of Chicago to a suburban high school. So that was kind of a thing. Plus, I wasn't that much of a extrovert at the time.
Was your sister the cool one? Did she bring you to the cool parties? And
No, she was even, I think, less cooler than I was, if that's possible. But how traumatic. Our first week and a half or so, we were in the lost and found for homeroom until they could place us. We moved late. So there you are in a lost and found for homeroom.
Trauma.
Yeah, listening to the morning announcements. I'm like, okay, yeah. Me and my older sister. Yep. What a pair. But so you want to talk about after high school or still in high school? Because to sum it up, high school, I didn't date. I didn't go to any dances. I didn't go to any sporting events. I went to school and came home. Pretty boring.
Well,
Yeah.
All right, then let's do this. Since I'm the moderator here,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to say we're going to move on. We're going to move on from freshman in high school, Ted. We'll go to college, Ted.
Okay.
Afro Ted, rolling in the 70s or whatever. I'm forgetting, slipping what car you had. Nice convertible.
Yeah, and so I graduated in 1976.
Okay.
I went to UIC, Circle, University of Illinois, Chicago Circle, UIC. I think the first year I didn't drive, but I did have a 72 Cutlass. I ended up driving down there, convertible, bronze with a white top, white leather interior, pretty cool. But as a freshman, it was pretty much for a long time was the Ted from high school. I sat in the library, ate my lunch in a cube, kind of just read, And, they had those big, like high walls. So it was kind of like secure. I remember sitting there kind of like, no one can see me. No one will bother me.
safe place.
Yeah. But then we had the Montgomery Ward room. Okay. It was a big study hall. And you always smelled pot, marijuana, weed. So I'm thinking, okay, you couldn't smoke cigarettes in high school, but can you smoke marijuana in college? I don't think so. It was confusing, but you'd walk by and you could see a very, very, clear indication they were smoking marijuana.
It was a confusing time.
It was. But no, I actually made friends with a lot of people in college, dating, hanging out, concerts, just a host of things. I mean, one of the highlights, we were in the cafeteria one day and I hung out with a bunch of Vietnam veterans, but they were still younger because, based on my age, we were pretty close in age, relatively speaking. They were a little older, obviously, but the point is, some other friends, Carrie, and there was Harvey, which ended up working with Harvey at the Allstate. He got me a job at Allstate. Long story short, one of the memorable times, we're in the cafeteria, and we grabbed the plastic trays, and we slid down the hill in the winter. Then, of course, they had to put a big sign up that these don't leave the building. All right. So the one day, again, back in the cafeteria.
Back then, they're probably these big, heavy metal.
Oh, they were plastic. But they were still cool. This is, I bet you can't throw a piece of bread and hit the lady at the register. I'm like, how much? She goes, $5. So they're all flicking bread. I take the bread, take the crust off, make it into a ball, nailed it right in the back. I says, no, man. We got kicked out after that, of course. But I won the money because they didn't say you couldn't make it into a ball. They're trying to, like a Frisbee with a piece of white bread. But yeah, college was a good time. I ended up having some good teachers. There was Mr. Kundrat. There was Mr. Dr. Small, Dr. Kundrat. Some great professors in college. Met a lot of people, started dating, let my hair grow big, kind of an afro, but it was naturally curly.
Still got the photos of it.
Yeah. And, start driving, even though I did have a license in high school, but it wasn't like, where was I going? But yeah, so, I really blossomed in college. I think friends, dating, going out, doing things, it was a good time.
All right, well then let's do this. Carrying it into college, Ted, if you can go back, what, if anything, would you change about this period of your life and why?
Okay, well, first, just a quick plug. It is 98.3 FM The Life. This is Improv Leadership. Ted Schneider, special guest, Zach Schneider, my younger son. And we're talking about Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story, a book he gave me and I filled out, and we're talking about it. I think the only thing in high school I would do differently, if I want to go back a little bit, is I'd get more involved. I wasn't involved in anything, and I would get more involved, date, that kind of thing, go to dances, prom, blah, blah, blah. The only problem
those cigarettes in the bathroom.
I know, cigarettes.
I know.
I hit, and drinking wasn't a big deal. And a lot of people don't want me to drink. It's part of my parole, don't drink coffee. I have a lot of energy, and
it's a scary world to think of you drinking.
Yeah. And yeah, if I got under control, yeah. But so I think I'd go back, get more involved in high school, from dating to clubs to whatever, maybe even do theater. I did theater in college, really enjoyed that. And maybe I would have done that in high school, and maybe, you never would have been born because I'd be on Broadway, or I'd be,
we wouldn't be discussing this book right now.
Exactly. So you never know. But I think the other thing I would is take more risk in general. I think about investments. I think about risk. You grow up in a conservative family, Boy Scouts, and you hang out with kids that aren't drinking, aren't doing drugs, aren't smoking. So it's a different crowd, to say the least, and, a specific crowd. And I'm not saying I would do drugs and rob convenience stores, but what I would do is just take some more risk in life, in terms of, I came across a letter from a girlfriend from college a couple of years ago, handwritten. It was in a cigar box. I had cards and letters and stuff. And she basically wrote me a letter after college and said, don't take the short, the quick route, meaning, do something that you really want to do. Don't, sell out. Well, I was an improv after college, and, you want to have a family, you want to buy a house, you want to buy a car, you want to have kids. And all of a sudden it's like, I got to get a job. I'm not going to be a starving artist and just wait tables. So I did sell out in terms of that. And I thought, well, I must have missed this letter. I didn't read it. So I think take more risks. Why not? I think in college, why not afterwards look if I could get into improv or acting or something? Because, they're kind of cool.
Well, you can always start taking risks starting now.
I do. I run across the street all the time. Yeah. Against the light. Yeah.
I'm bummed. I'm trying to remember this quote I just saw the other day, and it was pretty good. It was talking about basically taking risks. Mm-hmm. And today being the first day of implementing said risk or implementing said thing that you've always kind of, been kicking around. And now, of course, it's bothering me. I don't remember it. And I'm just.
But I guess the point is that if you get one life, you get so many
Totally.
years, there's no guarantee. I mean, I'm special. I'm not going to die myself, but most humans are going to die. So you figure you've got to take some risks. You got to take some, you got to push the envelope and see what you like, what you don't like. And especially at a younger age, I was talking to someone the other day. It's like, you're only 34 years old. You have an opportunity to do anything you want. Not married, no kids. I mean, if you don't take risk now to see what you really want to do, what you love, what you could fall into, when are you going to do it? When you're 44, 54, 64, 74? So I'm just saying, taking risk young, and that goes for anything. That goes for relationships. That goes for, jobs, hobbies, your passions. Follow your passion, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah.
The problem is, in grammar school, I had no passion. I mean, it was pretty much grades. Okay, so I got good grades. Okay, boo-hoo, But anyway.
Yeah, don't have the sailboat in your driveway.
Exactly. And you know what? I don't think I should have a sailboat either. I don't. Let's ram that guy. So what else is on the book? Again, 98.3 FM, Improv Leadership, Ted Schneider, special guest, Zach Schneider, going over a book I put together that he gave me. Dad, I want to hear your story.
All righty, let's do this. So we are going to now jump into work and career life. So it looks like we just had fun in high school, had a little bit more fun in college, and now you got the boot to get working.
Yeah, so I went to Triton for some classes after I graduated from UIC, political science degree, as well as more hours in communications and theater, because I told you I took theater. I was actually in a couple of plays, and then I started taking some classes at the workshops of Second City. They came out to a touring group at Chateau Louise. And I was like, this looks like fun. But so let's see, I got a job. My first job out of college was Allstate Life Insurance in Northbrook. And fun quote, fun fact, the building I was in, 900 Skokie Boulevard, my first job out of college in 1980, is where my girlfriend works right now for a different company.
Whoa, full circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
But anyway, so I was at Allstate for 5 years. I met your mom there. We got married in 1983. How I Met Your Mom, Allstate. So I was there from 80 to 85. And then it got kind of political. It got kind of crappy. I actually sent my resume to Allstate. I saw a job. I was trying to get out of there. And it was one of those blind ads.
It's a nice Monday morning. Hey, Ted, you want to just step into my office?
Exactly. Come on in the office. We got this letter. Oh, I was just testing the market.
Just making sure the link still works.
Well, don't forget, in those days, you actually filled out a thing and mailed it.
Yeah, true that.
And a blind ad, you were supposed to put the company you didn't want it to go to on the upper right corner of the envelope. And I was like, oh, no, I get what they mean. I had no idea. What a dummy. Needless to say, I kind of tipped my hand. But I worked at Allstate 5 years, 80 to 85, went to American Express. I was there from 85 to 96, worked downtown at, American Express. Don't leave home without it. Check processing. At one point, they recruited me, IRI.
Was that their slogan? Sorry, taking a step back.
Yeah. Don't leave home without it. Yeah. The American Express card. We actually processed checks, which I can't imagine that's a big business today, but we processed thousands and thousands and thousands of checks every day.
So then were you, what's his name, in Catch Me If You Can?
Oh, no.
Trying to catch him.
Yeah.
The FBI agent.
Yeah. No, Tom Hanks.
You're him.
No, we actually just
down one check at a time.
No, we actually just processed payments, but it was cool. I worked all 3 shifts there, and all 3 of my children were born there. Alec was born on 4th of July when I was downtown on days, working the holiday, 4th of July. Bree was born on 2nd shift, and you were born on 3rd shift. You weren't born on my 3rd shift, but when I was working 3rd shift. Like, Zach was born on 3rd shift.
That's why he's so weird.
Yeah, and every time kids were born, I hurt myself. So when Bree was born, I ran across the street and popped my hand on one of those big concrete things, bandaged it up because I popped right in the, I swing my hands like an orangutan when I walk, apparently. And then when Alec was born, I remember running up the stairs and I smashed it against the wall as I ran up the stairs to get the go bag. When you were born, I had my hands to my side like a penguin. I was like that. I'm like, I am not going to hit anything. But so anyway, that's the jobs. Allstate, then American Express. After American Express, I went to IRI for about 6.5 years, got laid off there. Only job I ever got laid off, knock on wood. and went to Harris Bank in Montreal for 2 years and 2 months after that, worked nights. And after that, I went to, I got laid off. And I went to Harris Bank. And then from there, I went to Information Resource. I went to Axiom. I ran the data center for the company that just let me go. That was like, okay. The lady that let me go, I ended up she was like my client. Kind of a weird dynamic. Mary Schmidt. Shout out to Mary Schmidt. She's probably dead. She's an old lady. But anyway. So Axiom for about 10 years. And then at the time I was getting divorced in 2016. They were selling my division, blew a disc in my back, had to get a new car, but I couldn't because, of course, your mom would have wanted half of the car, which means a $18,000 car would be a $27,000 car. But so in 2016, kind of a watershed year because I had to get a new job. My division was being sold and I had to have, pay alimony or maintenance as they call it now. I blew a disc in my back. So I had to find a job, find a place to live, get a new car. And it was kind of a traumatic thing, but I landed at Multiplan where I'm at now. I've been there 10 years and love the company. So Allstate to American Express to Information Resources to Axiom to Multiplan. So this year it will be actually, no, it is. It's 50 years I've been paying into Social Security. 50 years. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So a lot of people have benefited from me paying into it 50 years.
So here's an unscripted question.
Sure. Go ahead.
Sorry. And you brought up a good point saying when we were all born, there was
and I got to cut you off. It's 6:30, folks. Hey, you're listening to 98.3 FM The Life, Improv Leadership. We always take a break at the halfway point. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
African Americans are the most likely to die from colorectal cancer. The most important thing you can do is get screened starting at age 45. Insurance companies are required to cover not only colonoscopy, but also virtual colonoscopy and other less invasive exams. Talk to your doctor about your options. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org/virtualct. Brought to you by the American College of Radiology and the Radiology Health Equity Coalition.
Hey, cats and kittens. Join me, Gray Dolan, on Sundays at noon for Comics on Air with Gray Dolan, where a couple fellow stand-up comics and I get together, talk pop culture, make a few jokes, and make your Sunday scaries a little more of the Sunday funnies. Comics on Air with Gray Dolan, only here on 98.3 The Life.
This is Alan Arkin. I won an Oscar in 2006 for Little Miss Sunshine, and I was nominated 3 other times during my illustrious career. Nevertheless, my greatest accomplishment in life has been listening to Movies, Movie Music, and Me, Thursdays at 1 o'clock with Chris Cooling, right here on WRLR 98.3 The Life. Even though I died, I still find a way to listen, and you should listen too. Celebrity voice impersonated.
WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach,
Illinois. That's right. This is 98.3 FM Improv Leadership with your host, Ted Schneider. Special guest, Zach Schneider, going over the book called Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story. So go ahead, Zach. You had a question right before the break. I had to cut you off.
All righty. Well, welcome back, Sherry. Hope you're still listening, tuned in.
And your dog, too.
Oh, yeah. And Joe.
Joe's
alrighty.
not the dog, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's sure. Okay. Significant other.
Yes.
All right. So, Joe, thank you for listening, as well as Sherry. And what's the dog's name?
I always butcher the pronunciation.
It's a bigger dog, though. It sounds like a little dog.
If you don't hate me, if you're still tuned in, I always mispronounce the name of your dog. So we're gonna go with sound effects instead.
Okay, go ahead. So again, 98.3 FM The Life. Ted Schneider, Zach Schneider, talking about my life. Go ahead, Zach. Improv Leadership.
Your life, with the unscripted question, is when each of us were born, you said that you've gotten hurt somehow and Band-Aids were involved. If you had to guess how many Band-Aids you've used since 1976.
Oh my gosh, how many Band-Aids? I mean, thousands, Zach. I mean, I just went through 120 Band-Aids. I buy them 2 boxes at a time. At Mariano's, got $1 off. They send me coupons. I just bought another, I think, 80. And tonight I just actually stopped at Target and bought another, I think, 40 or 60.
I got them in my wallet, the car, my nightstand.
Yeah. I go through Band-Aids. Yeah, I got them with my business cards. Yeah, I pass them out sometimes. Hey, you want a Band-Aid? Yeah, I know, thousands. I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, Denise marvels at like, I played pickleball the other day. I walked out of there, my thumb is all bleeding. I'm like, how do I do that? So I asked the guy for a Band-Aid at the pickleball place. I didn't have mommy.
Oh, you got caught without a Band-Aid, huh?
Caught without a Band-Aid.
Whoa.
Bleeding on those pickleballs.
That's funny. Gets a little mustard on it though, a little extra spin action. It's really your secret trick.
Yeah. Whoop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a tendency to hurt myself. Yeah.
All righty.
Yeah.
And this is true. He is not this is all fact checked. All righty. So it looks like we're gonna be moving to a different section.
Sure.
And it is parents and grandparents. And we are going to start off with, what is a favorite memory of your father?
You know, my dad was involved in a lot of things. He was a committee man with the Boy Scouts. He also was involved in just a lot of things around the house. He was a handyman. Initially, he was a washing machine repairman, and then he went to work for the post office, and then he went to work at my uncle's body shop. But anyway, long story short, it was fun to buy a car, keep it for a year because we didn't have a garage, and buy another car, and they were always convertibles. A 72 Cutlass, a 73 Cougar. I had a 68 Mustang, all convertibles. And, you know, at the time, hate to say it, but chicks dug the convertibles. You know, you pulled up and I gave people rides, just random girls at a stop sign. You know,
and now they call that Uber.
Yeah. Well, now they call that stalking. You don't pull up to a bus stop and say, hey, you want to ride? But yeah, so I think just my dad was involved a lot, from scouting to my own, own life. Did a lot of things around the house, cutting down trees, and we had to take down this brick fireplace one time, outdoor brick fireplace. And my dad and I were taking it apart at the current house I live in. And at one point, my mom climbed out the second story window, walked across the roof, and started whacking fruit off a tree because she wanted the tree done, the fruit taken off. So my dad looked up and said something to the effect, I guess we got to do that next. But yeah, it was always involved in our lives. And from, like I said, scouting, just to things around the house. Played poker with him a lot. Used to love cards with him. Never played cribbage. He played cribbage with his brother, my uncle.
Never understood that game.
Me neither. I gave it away. I was like, okay, here's some, take it.
So it also sounds like that from reaching out onto the branch. It wasn't the honey-do list. It was the honey now list.
Exactly. My mom, and I'll switch gears to my mom. She's still alive. My dad died in 1983 of cancer. So he's been gone, 41 years. Mom's 92. She's in a nursing home about a mile and a half from the house, but always involved. She was involved in PTA. She used to sew us like little vests. My sister's, me a vest, my sister's dresses. There was fashion shows at the grammar school. Again, she was in the PTA. She was a den mother in scouting. And then she worked as a key punch operator. We only had one car growing up. So my dad had the car during the day, and she actually walked to Zenith, which was with, Zenith, where they made TVs. Zenith. Or
big tube television.
Yeah, where the quality goes, where the quality goes in before the name goes on. That was their tagline. Where the quality goes in before the name goes on. But yeah, so we were one of the first people in our neighborhood to have a color television set. Woo woo. But
you're the popular kid then.
Yeah, and then my mom, she ended up being the village greeter. She worked at the airport, worked for Sky Chefs, put food on the airplane. So we ended up taking a lot of trips to Europe and Acapulco and Hawaii and California, Arizona. And then, of course, she was a village greeter. She would bring.
And taking a step back, What age was this of traveling the world?
High school.
Oh.
Yeah, so high school and beyond. You had to be 21 or a full-time student. So my older sister dropped out early. My younger sister was still able to go because she was 4 years younger than me, Kathy.
Okay.
Yeah, but we went to Greece, Paris. We went to Hawaii, Acapulco. I missed a couple of trips because I got a job at a grocery store. My first job was at National Tea.
And what were you doing there?
I was a bagger.
Oh, alrighty.
Yeah, bagger. Then I moved up to stock. There was a union job, AFL-CIO.
What was minimum wage during then?
We started at $2.25. That was good money, $2.25, plus all the stuff you could steal. You could reduce.
Dent the can. Oh, can't sell that.
Yeah, it's a dime. But
that's good.
Anyway, what was it? What else?
Let's see. So we're gonna be focusing still on parents.
Okay.
And this will be your father and your mother.
Okay. That was my parents. Yeah. It's kind of cool. Yeah. How that works.
Pretty weird how that works. How would you describe their relationship?
Pretty good. I mean, they were married 26 years and then he died. I mean, unfortunately he died of cancer. Excuse me. And, but yeah, good relationship. Yeah. I think they got along well and they did a good job raising us. My mom was the authoritarian. My dad was kind of quiet comparatively. I mean, so when I had a loud voice and said something or swore, did something, it was very uncharacteristic. My dad was not the loud person. It was my mom. He was German. She's Greek. And yeah, she was I can remember in high school, be 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. We got a party tonight. Let's go. No one's sleeping late. Day up. We got things to do, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We always got up early and rocked and rolled. Even as kids, we had chores. You know what I mean?
And how were your sisters? Were they energetic as you or?
Kathy, yes. My younger sister was probably near my energy. My older sister, no. Mary, my mom had to check on her when she was a baby to make sure she was still breathing. She slept all the time. But seriously, my mom had a little mirror like, yeah, but she's alive. Okay.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, I had a paper route. I cut grass. I shoveled snow. We sold vegetables one time from the garden on the corner. I had little paper bags and sold vegetables as people came out from Zenith.
Do you remember what you grew?
It was mostly tomatoes. I didn't grow. My mom did, but we had a bumper crop, so couldn't use them all. So sell them, I mean, she gave away stuff as well, but we hustled as kids. But then I'll put it this way. We always had money, right? I could go to Ken's Pharmacy on Mobile and Grand, get 10 full-size candy bars for $1.05. 10 full-size candy bars for $1.05. Let that sink in. Yeah. Today, you can't get one candy bar for like $1.69.
I'd be curious to see what you could get for $1.05 still.
Yeah, but I'm just
Obviously
saying.
There's things.
Yeah, but if you go to the checkout line, those are more than $1 typically, those candy bars at the checkout line. I walk home in a bag, paper bag, of course. There was no plastic, a lot of plastic, but 10 candy bars. I was king of the world for $1.05. Okay. I think Playboy was like 75 cents at the time. Think what magazines are today, the few that are still around, right? What are they, $8?
I haven't looked at it. I haven't anything that's in like the grocery store aisles. I just walk right by.
Yeah.
So I've never the last time I purchased a magazine, the Playboys, but that's just for the articles.
Yeah, but they're long gone. But my point is 10 candy bars for $1.05. Tax was 5 cents. Today it's 11.5%.
Okay.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what else, Zach?
Let's see.
While he's thinking, this is 98.3 FM The Life. This is Improv Leadership. Ted Schneider every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Of course, next Tuesday is what? Christmas Eve. The Tuesday after that, New Year's Eve. There was a conspiracy about me doing my show. I will not be here the next 2 Tuesdays. But anyway, Zach Schneider's here, special guest, also my younger son.
All righty. And hello. Hi again.
Yes. And we're
still
going
here.
And we're going to do a quick station ID, Zach. You want to come over here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. So this is, again, 98.3 FM. We always do a station ID every 15 minutes, just in case you don't think, is it really 98.3 FM The Life?
WRLR 98.3 FM LP, Round Lake Beach, Illinois.
I told you, this guy doesn't lie. 98.3 FM The Life. Zach Schneider, Ted Schneider. God, there's a couple Schneiders here.
Ooh, confirming that we aren't robots. We clicked the little checkbox here.
Exactly. I am not a robot. But anyway, we're going over the book called Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story. Okay, about maybe another 12, 13 minutes, Zach. God, what else?
Right. I always forget how fast this hour seems to go.
It goes fast.
Here, and then it's like gone. So one more question regarding your parents.
Sure.
Did either of them serve in the military?
My dad was in the Army. Yes, he was. He served in Alaska during the Korean conflict. They were worried about Russia coming across the Bering Strait. So he was stationed in Alaska.
How long?
I'm guessing at least 2 years. I don't remember the timing, but that's where he was. Yeah.
All righty.
And he did get into an accident there. He was involved in a Jeep accident, and they ended up doing grafting because he had graft. They took his skin from where he got hurt.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So his thigh was all these little checkerboards. They took skin off to graft and put on where they needed to.
You know what type of crash into something? Or
no,
what?
I just know it was a Jeep crash. Yeah. So yeah, never involved in combat, but accidents happen.
Sure. Well, that's crazy. Let's see. What is some of the best advice your father gave you?
The thing that sticks out with my dad is 2 things. One, whatever you do, give it 110%. Give it 110% no matter what it is. And he meant everything. School, chores, relationships, whatever. The other thing he always said was people will judge you by the company you keep. And that's a long story, but so the people you hang out with really define you, in terms of, and that goes back to, how I grew up. Nobody smoked, nobody did drugs. If they drank, it was a beer, it wasn't like anybody had any problems with alcohol as an example. So you are, you end up you're judged by the company you keep is what I remember my dad always said.
I like it.
Yeah.
All righty. Moving along to your siblings.
Yes.
All righty. Up next, siblings. How would you describe each of your siblings when they were kids?
Well, Mary was my older sister. She passed away about 6 years ago, but always try to get out of things. One time she cleaned, a perfect example, good kid though. I mean, good kid, but she was never really, she hated school, didn't really like school, and didn't go to college, but graduated from Ridgewood actually, a year before I did. I remember one time she was cleaning the shower downstairs and she mixed like 6 different chemicals and pretty much produced a poisonous gas in our basement. So of course she almost passed out, got, she actually got sick from it. And of course, at that point, she no longer had to clean the shower. Well, all she had to do is mess up.
And that's how they discovered Agent Orange.
Exactly. But Mary also didn't like to get scared. So the rule was for both my sisters, and I'll switch gears for Kathy quickly, but she was an athlete in high school, always athletic, a lot of friends. She was always outgoing. So more outgoing than I was. So on the scale, it was Kathy was really outgoing in grammar school, high school. I was like, and Mary was like, even worse. But anyway, so they didn't I couldn't hit my sisters. They could pound me as much as they wanted, but don't hit girls. Got it. So I found that they did not like to be scared. So one time they went to see American Werewolf in London. Remember that movie?
I do not.
But it's about a kid who gets bit in London, turns into a werewolf. Well, I had a full rubber gorilla mask. So when they went to see it one night, I waited for them because they pulled up. I went upstairs in their bathroom and hid at the end of the bathroom. Now it's just a half bath upstairs. My sister Mary walks up, flicks the light on in the bathroom, and I jumped out, went, and of course she flew back, smashed the little toilet roll holder that was a radio. It was an FM radio or AM radio with a toilet roll on it, toilet roll. Toilet roll.
Down,
like,
toilet roll.
What's a toilet roll? And she chased me out of the house. So my parents didn't say anything. One day I'm in the basement we had an 8-track player. I'm listening to 8 tracks with a headset on. The light goes on over the pool table. Shut the thing off. I go onto the pool table. She walks by. I grabbed her leg and went, boom.
Oh man.
So a dark basement with just a light on over the pool table. She starts screaming. She grabs a pool cue or a pool stick, chases me out of the house. She's whoo, whoo, whoo. So then my parents said, look, you can't hit him and you can't scare him. All right. So my sister had long hair and she had a shower. She had to wash her hair in the laundry tub because they didn't want her, clogging the drain. So I went down one day, hid under a laundry basket and just sat there. She washed her hair. She walked by and went, hello. Of course, she's scared. So my parents like, what are you doing? I just said hello. I didn't mean to scare her, And I was always trying to take the legal route.
Always bending the rules.
Yeah, I didn't scare her. I just said hello. Just like when I was in grammar school, I had the porch, right? One door was the kitchen. The other door led either outside or down the steps to the basement. So I did something wrong, which is hard to believe.
Shocker.
And my mom said, I don't want to see you come out of this door until I tell you. But she pointed to the kitchen door. She said nothing about the back door. So I got my glove, my rubber ball, played a couple hours, and we were right across the street from the grammar school, Luther Burbank, off the wall, whatever it was, fast pitch. So a couple hours at the school, I come home, the door is still closed to the kitchen. I'm like, yeah. She opens the door. Where were you? Well, you said I couldn't go out there. Whack. So, I was trying to be a lawyer in grammar school and it didn't work. But that was the deal. She said, don't go out this door. But she didn't say anything about the back door. So lesson learned, you got to be specific with me. Very specific.
The minor details matter.
Yeah, details. Yeah. But keep going. I'm sorry.
No, you are all good. So I was sifting.
Well, he's shifting. This is 98.3 FM The Life. Improv Leadership with your host, Ted Schneider. Zach Schneider, my younger son, is interviewing me from a book I filled out called Dad, I Want to Hear Your Story.
All righty, cool. Let's do this. So we're going to be moving over to
Yeah, we got about 6 minutes.
oh snap.
Just to keep you on task here.
Cool. We will go to becoming and being a dad.
Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. So we'll start out with what were your children's lengths and weights at birth?
I don't remember, but I know it was 8'7", 8'11", and 10'3". So Bree was 8'7", Alec was 8'11", and you were 10'3". Boom. And you were about 2 weeks early too. And you came out because you had swallowed some amniotic fluid, and they put you like in that French fry machine. Yeah, but you were big. I could tell you came out like a rubber doll. But yeah, so Bree 8'7", Alec 8'11", and you were 10'3".
All righty. Let's see. I'm just going through reading some of these questions to see, just highlight some of the more fun questions, I should say, if we got 6 minutes left.
But being a father, I'll just do some freelance here. Being a father's been an interesting ride. I mean, as little kids, you're trying to work, you're trying to do things, and you spend a lot of time with your family. Yeah, especially when Bree was like in gymnastics. Alec did baseball a little bit, then got bored. We spent a lot of time with you, obviously, with baseball from little league through college. But trying to I'll put it this way. I didn't do as good a job, I think, when you were younger to try to make you as individuals I could in terms of, focus on each of you as individuals. You kind of treat them like, all 3 kids. I mean, older wise, I think I made more of an effort, you know what I mean? And I'm proud of you guys. I mean, I think of things like some highlights. Brianna doing makeup at CLC for some plays. She was on the top of her game. I can remember going to see the play, and in between the scenes, you're so excited about doing makeup for the actors and actresses in between. That was a highlight, I think, for Bree. For you, of course, obviously was pitching in the World Series up in Appleton, Wisconsin. I remember you came in like at midnight, and it's like, next up, Zach Schneider. I'm like, what? Because you had just come back from labor and surgery.
Yep.
And so that was pretty cool. And Alec, I think, was the when he made his 93 Civic that we gave him into from an automatic to a stick. And of course, that career continued to go. So Alec, builds and swaps engines and buys cars and sells cars. But I think that's
he fixes the question.
Yeah. And so the point is, I mean, I'm proud of all 3 of you. Each are unique in your own ways. But it is, being a parent's a responsibility. And I'm not sure people realize that. And it's a lifelong responsibility. It's not like, okay, they're 12, they're 18. I can forget about it. I mean, I have, but you're not supposed to.
I was about to say my 8th grade graduation gift.
Inside joke, folks.
Inside joke. Okay, let's see. If we were to do, what are the best and hardest parts of being a father? Yeah, I guess you kind of answered that.
Yeah, it's tough. When you guys are sick, Alec, seemed to always be, you popped a hole between your eyes one time. Remember swinging on the railing, going downstairs in Mothman. Alec at Mundelein ran with a helmet on his bike, ran into one of the mailboxes. You guys had to take the ER. Well, I'm sleeping. I was working nights.
Don't wake him up on 3rd shift.
Yeah. So I think the toughest thing for me was I worked all 3 shifts while you guys were growing up and trying to make things while you're sleeping 4 hours, going to work at, 10 o'clock and coming home at like 10 o'clock. That was kind of a lot to juggle at some point.
Yeah. It's still a mystery to me. So I can only imagine.
Yeah.
All right. It looks like we only got a few more minutes left, so I will do some dad trivia.
Sure.
Let's see.
Again, this is 98.3 FM Life. Improv Leadership is the show. Ted Schneider is the host. My special guest is Zach Schneider.
If you could only eat 3 things for the next year, what would you pick?
Well, of course, peanut butter, pizza, and did I put something else down? What was the 3rd thing?
Good old-fashioned hot dog.
Oh, of course. Hot dogs. Yeah. Hot dogs, pizza, and peanut butter.
Puts down 4 pounds. These big jugs of peanut butter. They're 4-pound canisters.
You got me 2 of them.
Yeah,
8 pounds of peanut butter. How long did it take me to go through that?
It seems like a day and a half.
It was like 5 weeks, I think. 5-6 weeks.
Close enough.
Yeah. 8 pounds of peanut butter, guys. 6 weeks.
It does not sit around if it's in his presence. That
3
is for
words.
sure.
Bring it on.
All right. Let's see. What is your least favorite household chore?
Right now, did I say bathrooms or dusting?
We got bathrooms on the list here.
Yeah, I have 2.5
But now it
baths.
sounds like dusting is coming in.
Well, but dusting kind of hides there. You dusting, you dust it all, Zach?
No.
Yeah, that's why. So, but you can't see the dust. It's like a white car that gets dirty. You can't really tell. And next thing you know,
Yeah.
you touch something and go, oh my gosh, when was the last? Or you see a cobweb in the corner. What the hell? Did someone die? You know, what's going on here?
I feel like we do a pretty good job though of like vacuuming and then mopping. We have this like 2-in-1 machine, yeah, that basically does it all. And then really like countertops and stuff, like we're not actively moving things and picking things up, but like we definitely, where we cook and we move, where the majority of the time and is spent, we do a good job of always keeping that clean. So yeah, probably like corners. After a little bit, it's probably like, ooh, yeah, we should probably get that.
Okay, I don't mean to cut you off, but this is about me, so no one cares about your clean.
Sorry, I was trying to justify for the viewers out there.
Yeah.
It's a clean environment.
We got about 1 minute left, Zach. What do you want to wrap up with?
Let's see.
Again, this is Zach Schneider, my special guest, going over Dad. I want to hear your story, and this could be another show, Zach. We got plenty of material.
I don't want to rush it. So.
It's a 94-page book, believe it or not, folks. Again, Dad, I want to hear your story that I filled out. Any
if we have, this is unscripted, just anything that you can think of while filling this out that you thought of, anything that might not even be in the book that you would want to.
I think the biggest thing is you see a progression. When I wrote that and went through the book, you see a progression. You see a progression in terms of, how you grew up and you know how you are now. And it's like a movie. Hopefully the character, you, has grown, has changed, has made some, positive things based on experiences, learns from your mistakes. I think that's, I think I'm 95% there in terms of I've learned, 95%. I still need to understand my audience better. And Denise will tell you that when I have to understand my audience. I don't care.
I'd agree with that.
I usually don't care who's around me. It's like, yep, it's a TED show. But no, I think as an adult, two things come to mind. One, you've got to change. You've got to get better. And as my boss's boss always says, all you got to do is be a little bit better today than you were yesterday. Simple as that. As well as, life is short. So take some risk, have some fun, do something for somebody else, and get involved in things that are bigger than you.
Awesome. I love it.
Well, folks, that's all the time we have for. Zach, why don't you come over in the camera? This is Improv Leadership, 98.3 FM Life. Again, Zach Schneider was my special guest tonight. We were talking about me. What a better subject. But anyway, it's only Tuesday. Holidays are coming up. We won't be here next week because it's Christmas Eve. But thanks for tuning in and listening. And please enjoy the rest of your week and take care.